I'm Tessa.
I'm Destenie. Back in 2016, we were allowed to bring RAP, Wellness Recovery Action Plan groups into the Department of Corrections. We decided to pilot our first group at NCCW, Nebraska Correctional Center for Women in York, Nebraska. And that first group is where we met Tessa. We didn't know what to expect bringing RAP out there. We've only done them in the community and at schools. But it went really well, and tell them how it went for you.
Well, for me, I first went and listened to the panel where they spoke about RAP, told a little bit about it was, and shared their own personal experience. And probably for the first time in like a really long time, I was able to like take some hope from that, because here were people that had lived through some very similar experiences as me. You know, Destenie shared her story, and Jackson shared her story. Women that had wore the same khakis as me, slept in the same bunks, lived very similar lives, and they were doing really different things with their life today. From that, I was able to gather some hope that, you know, I too could do something different if I really wanted to. But beyond that, RAP taught me about self-awareness, and it took some really basic things that I already knew about myself, and it helped bring those things to the surface and into acknowledgement and help me put those pieces together. And I figured out a lot of new ways of how to take care of myself. I'd struggled with my mental health for the majority of my life, which led me into a drug addiction that I've carried with me since I was about 12, 13 years old until now. And as it turned out, RAP ended up being one of the most beneficial tools in my recovery.
From that first group, we were actually provided with funding from the Department of Corrections to expand into other facilities. I believe we're currently doing RAP groups in 5 of the Department of Corrections facilities. But then, you know, after that group, it wasn't too long. Tessa was released, and I was in my office, and I got a random phone call one day, and it was Tessa. And she told me that she'd been out for a while and everything that she was doing was from there.
Yeah. So while I was there, I very vividly remember Destenie always telling me the importance of like having good, healthy supports in my life, and telling me how MHA was always taking volunteers. When I got out, I had developed a pretty strong parole plan for myself, and I was doing everything that I was supposed to be doing with that. I was attending IOP, I was working, I was spending time building relationships with my family, rebuilding relationships with my family, and I just felt like something was missing, and I couldn't quite put my finger on what it was. I reached out to some people in NA, I did a little bit of that. It helped, but it wasn't quite it. And I just kept remembering Destenie telling me that they took volunteers, so I kicked the idea around for a while, and then finally one day I just pulled her card out and I called her. When I paroled out, I paroled back to Pawnee City, which is about an hour and 20 minutes from Lincoln, and I called her and said, this is what I'm doing, but I still feel like something's missing. I don't quite know what it is, and so I'm wondering if I could come try volunteering for you guys. And she said, can you come tomorrow? I kind of felt put on the spot. I didn't know exactly what to do with that, so I agreed. One of the things that MHA always talks about is how they believe in striking while the iron's hot, and that was what Destenie did. Had she given me the opportunity to, like, if she would have said, can you call back next week, or can you come next week, I probably would have made some excuse and not came. But she said, come tomorrow. I came the next day, and I've been volunteering with them ever since. The first day that I spent volunteering at the Kia House, I spent the entire afternoon talking with a man that was struggling just to stay sober one more day. And we talked about what that felt like and some things that I had done when I was struggling with that feeling myself. And we really just spent quite a few hours that afternoon talking. And when I left there that day, I just felt spiritually revived, like whatever it was that I was looking for, I'd found my purpose.
I think that's like one of the really big differences between peer support and traditional services. Sometimes with traditional services, we have to wait so long to get in or get seen, or to be able to talk to somebody. With peer support, it's not Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, you know, and we've been there, so we know that when someone's ready or someone wants to do something, or when they're missing something, that we have to act now. And even if it's inconvenient or we have something else going on, we will figure out a way to make it work. Because if we don't, I know as a drug addict that, it could have been possible that if Tessa kept feeling like she was missing something, she was going to try and fill that void. And for a lot of us, filling that void means going back to old habits. And if she would have did that, then we could have either one, not heard from her again, or two, maybe I wouldn't have heard from her for several weeks. Or, I think that's one of the really things people struggle with trying to get into treatment too. Like they want to get sober, today, and they want to get help, but then they're told that they have to wait 6 to 8 weeks, or they have to go through this hoop and that hoop and this hoop and that hoop. And then there's such a period in between getting into programming or services that they begin to lose hope, and it's a lot easier to go and get high. And then even though they want to get sober today, if they get high, then they'll just keep doing that, and then it might be several weeks, several months, or maybe never that they have that feeling of wanting sobriety again.
I'm Tessa Demers.
I'm Destenie.
MHA is family.
MHA is family.